Hey guys, welcome back to Devlog 1 of making a horror game in C++ and OpenGL. Hopefully the audio sounds good. I'm literally wrapped up in a ton of blankets next to my laptop. It's super loud right now, so I'm trying to get that, crisp audio. First of all, let me apologize for being so late. This video was supposed to be uploaded last Sunday, and right now it's Friday. But at least the video is getting out. I had school basically fucking with me, and just a little bit of procrastination. Now on to the actual devlog. So as I was talking to you guys about last devlog, I worked about mini audio. I worked a little bit with mini audio. I was able to read most of the documentation for it and implement a small sound engine class for the game. This class basically loads songs and plays them. It needs to be updated because right now it can only load and play one song, but it's not that big of a deal. What I have it able to do what I actually need it to do, which is just play songs and sounds when I want them to play. The next thing that I did was I fixed a bug with my camera. So that camera that I showed you guys last time, that was the height map camera. That the camera was linked to a specific height of the actual map, not the one where you can V-clip through everything. I had this really weird issue where if my X's and Y's were flipped, so if I had a negative X and a positive Y, or a negative X or a positive X and a negative Y, the height map wasn't aligned properly, which was super weird because I was floating up 20 feet in the air, and I was so confused. I kept trying to find this issue. I spent hours looking for it. It turns out I had an X and a Y flipped when I was calling for the height map, which is so dumb, and I'm really glad it wasn't that difficult, or I didn't have some very major logic that was messed up, but it was definitely frustrating to spend so much time looking for a simple bug that could have really just took me literally 30 seconds to fix. But that's what you get with coding. I still have an issue with the X and Y thing that maybe we'll talk about in another devlog, but it doesn't impact actually playing the game, so it's not that big of a deal. The third thing I worked on was implementing monster logic. So I actually have been able to implement the main loop of the game, which is playing sounds when a monster gets closer to the player. Those evil, spooky sound cues, and being able to actually jump scare the player, which is really just a simple 2D object with a texture on it. There is, let me talk a little bit how I actually got that implemented. Basically, I take the point in space where the player and the monster are at, and I'll check it every second, basically how close the monster is to the player. And if the monster is too close, jump scare or a sound cue will play, which, is just using the distance formula, everyone's favorite formula from 10th grade math. Actually, probably before that. Honestly, probably elementary school math. But we're using that beautiful formula. How I'm actually able to move the monster and get closer to the player is by using the section formula, which is like a weighted midpoint formula. It basically finds the point for a specific ratio between two points. So I just have that implemented, and the weight changes depending on how close the monster is. The closer the monster is, the weight will actually get larger because you want the monster to move slower. Hopefully this class can get implemented and improved upon into the future. I mean, it is implemented, but will get improved upon into the future. Maybe having some more random logic or having some more complex logic with how the monster actually works. But right now it works. There's sound cues the closer the monster gets to the player. One nice thing about having implemented this in classes is it's super easy to make multiple instances of the monster. So that'll be really nice because maybe I can make certain biomes have more monsters. So that's super easy to implement. Another thing that probably won't be too hard to implement, but I'm not promising it for the game, is actually making the monster appear in the game, not just as a mythical code entity, but actually as a 2D object or 3D object in the game, running around chasing after you with its PNG-ness. I'll see about it. It shouldn't be too hard to implement because I know how to implement everything for it, but I'm making no promises right now. Okay, now on to what is going to happen for next devlog. Next devlog will hopefully be uploaded next Wednesday. Again, I don't want to promise anything now that I see how easy it is for times to change, but I would wait and it should be out next Wednesday. If I can get enough done this weekend, there might be a mini devlog done and posted on Sunday, but I'm really not going to put any promises up for that. That is like stretching me pretty thin. Now onto what we're actually working on. Basically, I want to implement biomes and the winning condition for the game. Biomes, I actually just need to implement the them in game, the actual, the actual things on screen that are the biomes. Like, you didn't have to cut me off. Cities, forests, and rolling hills. I need to change the vertexes and put those in the game, which shouldn't be too crazy hard, but, it's definitely going to take up most of the time, especially because I'm working in C++ and OpenGL. It's really so low level that you need to, affect every vertex, and you really mess around with everything, and it's super hard to make fancy things. So we'll see. I think the first biome I'm going to try to implement is the city. The rolling hill should be super easy because I already have rolling hills. I just need to mess around with the parameters in my equations that make terrain already. So that should be super easy. But the city is the biggest thing. I need to implement basically big cubes that have textures on them. And I need to make sure the player can't run through those cubes. So I need to enable some detection logic, which is just going to be checking if there's a building there and making sure the player can't walk through it. But I do need to get that implemented. And the winning. So again, how I described in the first devlog, that winning is basically escaping the area. I could make this as simple as just checking the player's position and seeing if they're outside of a specific area, or I could make it be that there's specific biomes that if you reach, you can win. But that's the thing I want to make sure you can do. I want to make sure you can win, not just an infinite loop. So that's really the main things I'm working on for next week, and hopefully you guys will be able to see. Thank you guys so much. There was so much support on the devlog 0, and it really did make my day. So I'm going to really work hard and try to get this next devlog uploaded, and of course this one, because I still have to edit it. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I'll see y'all later.